Hi Anna and the rest of the Real Women of Philadelphia team. Take a look at what I saw outside my back door this morning. Yeah, I know, it's Entree week and it's spring. What's going on with the weather? I have to admit, my first reaction was something like, ah! My second reaction was, that one took almost all day to shake. But after a few good cups of coffee, I've now moved on to what better day for a comfy, cozy pasta for dinner. So I'm glad you're here and I'd like to share with you my recipe for some sweet and creamy penne with broccoli. So let's get started. Just cook your pasta according to the package directions until it's just about perfectly done. You want to leave it a little bit firm because we're going to throw it into our pan and warm it up again after. So that's going there. I have got my Philadelphia cream cheese on hand. This is what is going to make our penne pasta the creamiest that you've ever tasted. We've got other cheeses like our cheddar cheese, our Parmesan cheese. We've got a little bit of flour we're going to use in with our butter. And then I've got my seasonings all ready to go here. So I'll tell you about the amounts of those as we get going. Some fresh garlic. And then in here I've mixed together 1 cup of half and half cream and 1.5 cups of skim milk. So that's going to be the base of our sauce. So let's get going throwing these together. Okay, I've got half a cup of butter melting in my pan here. And as that's gotten off to a good start of melting, I'm going to crush in 3 cloves of fresh garlic. Now that we've got 3 cloves of garlic in here, things are starting to smell delicious. You can see we've got our garlic cooking up nicely in the butter. And then I'm just going to sprinkle over the top of that all 2 tablespoons of flour. This will just give our sauce a little bit of a thicker texture. And we're going to mix that in there and then just let it cook for just a moment. And that breaks up the starches in the flour so you don't get a grainy feel to your pasta sauce. The whole time while that's going in my skillet, I'm just giving my pasta a little stir every now and then so that it is ready to go. And it is almost done. Most of the time your pasta will take around 10 minutes or so, but get it going while you've got your pasta sauce on the go too. Okay, now that my flour has had a little bit of time to cook up in the butter and the garlic, we're going to start with our cream. Again, I've got 1 cup of half and half cream mixed with 1.5 cups of skim milk. So I'm going to pour that in nice and slowly and hear that pan sizzle. You're going to just let it all cook up there. I'm going to just continue to whisk this in here over medium-high heat and get that all that cream and milk mixed in with the garlic and the butter and let it start to thicken up just a touch. It's going to thicken up a lot more as we add our other ingredients, but you want to get it off to a bit of a start here. I've got the sauce going behind me there and I've actually just drained my pasta. I don't know if you can see the steam coming from the sink here because the pasta has just gotten ready here. We're going to start on just making sure all our broccoli is prepared. Most of the broccoli ready to go, all washed up and divided up there. But I wanted to show you how we make perfectly sized florets here too. If you've broken up your broccoli, you've got some pieces that are a little bit bigger than bite size, we want to just stick your knife right in the center there and split them up. So you've got perfectly bite-sized pieces. And you don't want them too small because you want them to have a lot of color to add to your pasta and you want there to be some crunch to them. But you don't want them too big either so that they aren't bite-sized after all. And while I've got you here, we might as well just get our tomatoes diced up. Fresh tomatoes on top of some nice hot cooked pasta. It's one of my favorite ways to add some fresh color to a dish. And it adds so much, just bursts of flavor. It makes the entire dish way more appetizing. So I'm going to cut up just 1 tomato here, ready to go. And we're also going to throw some fresh parsley onto the top of our pasta once it's ready to go. So I'll just get that ready while we're over here at the cutting board also. Dried parsley definitely has its place in the kitchen. I use it in a lot of dishes, but there's something about the fresh smell and color of a fresh bunch of parsley that cannot be replaced. Okay, so over medium-high heat, we got our sauce to be just bubbling and just getting all bubbly and and starting to thicken up there. Now we're going to start to add our seasonings in. So we're going to start with just a little dash of salt and some fresh ground pepper. That's just a taste, whichever you, however much you like in your recipes, goes well in this sauce. And then I'm going to add in my other seasonings. Now I have in this little bowl, I've got a pinch of cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon of dry mustard, and a 1/4 teaspoon of onion salt. So those are all just going to shake over our sauce there. And with all those in the pan, we're just going to whisk that up until it's smooth. Okay, now I've got all the seasonings mixed in there, and I've got little beautiful flecks of brown and pepper in my creamy white sauce. And now we're going to add the best ingredients of all, the cheeses. So the first thing we're going to throw in is our Philadelphia cream cheese. This is your ingredient that is going to make this just the smoothest texture of sauce and the cheesiest flavor of sauce that we can add to our penne with broccoli. So today we're using our regular cream cheese in the brick, brought to room temperature, but you could also use the light variation. There's really very little difference at all between the two, except that the light version has over 1/3 less fat. But today we're going to use our regular, and I've taken half a brick, cubed it up into pieces, and we're going to toss that into our pan and spread it around. And then that's going to melt in there along with our other cheeses. I have got half a cup of Kraft shredded Parmesan cheese here, which I'm going to sprinkle into the pan, and 2/3 a cup of sharp cheddar cheese, which I've grated up finely. And with all those sprinkled in, we are just going to continue to whisk this up over medium heat until they're all melted in. Now at this point you should be able to smell your cinnamon and your nutmeg mingling together. That's how it becomes a sweet and creamy sauce. It's the cinnamon in there. It's just the touch of flavor that's going to make your family love this sauce. Got our sauce going here. We're melting those cheeses over medium to medium low heat to get that nice and smooth and creamy and finished up. We're going to steam our broccoli. So I've got a double boiler going with some really steamy hot water underneath, and we've got our fresh broccoli ready to go. Now you'll notice the difference especially in the color from your fresh broccoli before you steam it till after. Now the important thing here is to just toss it into your double boiler, and we're not going to leave it for very long. We're talking maybe it's going to be in there 2 to 3 minutes. Mushy broccoli is not the way to teach your children, especially your young ones, how to love fresh vegetables. So I find having your broccoli just still something to bite into is the best way to throw them into this pasta. So we're going to give it maybe 2 to 3 minutes, keeping an eye on it. Wait until that color just bursts through the broccoli, and the flavor is going to be that much more enjoyable too. And we're going to keep an eye on our sauce, making sure that it doesn't start to boil here because we don't want to scorch those cheeses. So once it's all uniformed and melted in, just turn it right down to low heat. Now we've got our steaming hot penne pasta ready to go here. I'm going to pour that straight into the pan. I've got maybe a little bit too much here, so we're going to set that aside and toss that in with the sauce. Now this is still done over the heat of the element, as the pasta was almost perfectly done, so this is the time that it's going to finish up the cooking right in the sauce itself. Once you've got your pasta mixed in and all tossed in that sauce there, and it's creamy and smelling delicious, we're going to toss in our beautiful bright broccoli. Do you see the difference in the color after you've steamed it for just, I even think it took just under 2 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to toss this bright colored delicious broccoli right into the pan also, and then toss that in with the noodles and the sauce. So now we've placed it in our serving bowl, topped it with those fresh tomatoes, that fresh parsley, a little sprinkle of ground pepper again, and it's ready to set on the dinner table. But of course, the cook should always have the first bite. So let's see how this sweet and creamy pasta with broccoli turned out. I hope you can enjoy this pasta dish with your family as much as I do with mine. So until we get a chance to get together again, keep cooking with Philadelphia cream cheese, and I'll see you soon.